Chapter 67:16. Charlie waved his hand and smiled. Why are you so polite? If you are not in a hurry to leave, find a seat and sit for a while. Okay. Tawana also wanted to see Hank's good show, so she sat down near the door. Orville said politely at this time, Ms. Sweet, wait a moment. I will ask someone to bring you a new set of tableware. Tawana nodded in thanks, and Orville left the box first. Hank didn't expect that Tawana would come to make trouble when he was kneeling and begging Charlie. However, he didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction, so he could only bite the bullet and continue to beg. Mr. Wade, please, give me another chance next time. Charlie smiled and said, You said you would serve me like a dog and a horse. But that's all for later. If I were you, at this moment, I wouldn't want both. I would first choose one to keep the basics, and then strive to achieve another goal through my own efforts. Hank wanted to continue begging, but then he thought that Charlie's style of doing things was not affected by others at all. It was useless for him to beg him here, unless he had made up his mind to let him go. Therefore, the best way now is to quickly agree to Charlie's conditions. Quickly cash out the $1 billion, and then let Charlie cure his pancreatic cancer. As long as his pancreatic cancer problem is solved, the length of his life will be greatly increased. Just as Charlie said, the rest of the things can be considered in the long run. So, he immediately said respectfully, Mr. Wade taught me, I understand what you mean. You give me 1 day, before tomorrow night. I will prepare $1 billion of cryptocurrency and hand it over to Matt. I hope Mr. Wade can cure my pancreatic cancer by then. Charlie nodded and said admiringly, This is the attitude one should have when asking someone for help. Hank said humbly, It's all Mr. Wade's teaching. Charlie said, How about this, you go back and prepare. After the money is in place, we will meet here tomorrow night at the same time and place, and I will help you solve the pancreatic problem then. Hank was overjoyed and blurted out, Thank you, Mr. Wade. Thank you, Mr. Wade. He instructed Matt. Matt, notify me as soon as Hank's money is in place. Okay, Mr. Wade. Matt was naturally extremely respectful and agreed. Hank asked Charlie nervously, Mr. Wade, then I have a question and I don't know if I should ask it or not. Charlie waved his hand very calmly. Ask, why be polite? Hank asked him nervously, Then Mr. Wade, will you help me treat or cure me tomorrow night? Hank was too afraid that Charlie would continue to play with him. If he paid the money, bowed his head, and admitted his mistakes tomorrow night, and Charlie said, I helped you treat, but it didn't work, wouldn't he be played to death? Seeing his cautious face, Charlie smiled lightly. I just said an ordinary hospital. Here, there are only 2 steps, discovering the problem and solving the problem. There is no problem that cannot be solved. Don't worry, I will naturally let you get rid of the trouble of pancreatic cancer tomorrow night. After saying that, Charlie smiled and reminded, By the way, I advise you to arrange your private plane in advance. Like the day before yesterday, you can go straight to the airport and fly back to the United States after dinner. In addition, I also suggest that you quickly reconnect with the hospital there. After you land, go for another checkup. At that time, you will know whether your pancreatic cancer has been cured. Hank thought, if Mr. Wade says so, I have to fly back to the United States tomorrow night. I have nothing to do all day long and just fly around. Chapter 67:17. After Hank paid another $10 million for the meal, he went to the hotel to rest and started to raise money. Raising $1 billion was painful for Hank, but it was not difficult. He quickly followed the requirements and anonymously purchased $1 billion worth of Bitcoin on the cryptocurrency trading platform. He also handed over the digital wallet addresses corresponding to these Bitcoins to Matt. After confirming that the money was correct, Matt reported the matter to Steve. So Steve made an appointment with Hank for dinner the next day. Hank was numb. He knew that he would have to pay another $10 million for dinner at Classic Mansion tonight. After being repeatedly tossed around by Charlie and affected by pancreatic cancer, his attitude towards money has changed a lot. Whether money or no money, being able to live is the best. If you can live a relatively healthy and long life on the basis of keeping a certain amount of money, you can basically be satisfied. In order to ensure that the fun of life is not affected, the dozen or so impotent friends in the group also raised enough money. However, they were not in a hurry to transfer the money immediately, but wanted to wait and see what changes would happen to Hank's pancreatic cancer. If Charlie really has a way to cure Hank's pancreatic cancer, it proves that this person has a powerful ability that everyone cannot judge at all. Everyone will quickly transfer the money and bring it to the doc, and this matter will be safely passed. However, if Hank's pancreatic cancer does not change or progress, then everyone will have to reconsider whether Charlie is reliable. Don't look back, the money has been spent, and the impotence is still impotent. The next day, Hank spent every second like a year. He was looking forward to seeing Charlie earlier, but Charlie arranged the time today at 10 o'clock in the evening. It was not easy to get through the whole day. After nightfall, he couldn't wait to come to Classic Mansion in advance. When Orville saw him, he couldn't help but smiled and said, "Why did Mr. Hank come so early tonight? It's only 8:30 now. And there's still an hour and a half before the time," Master Wade said. Hank said respectfully, "I'm free in the hotel anyway, so I'll just sit here and wait for you." Orville nodded and said, "In that case, let's go to the Diamond Box. It's reserved for you tonight." Hank hurriedly said, "Oh, Mr. Hong, you're so polite. Thank you very much." Orville smiled and said, "Why should we thank each other? To be honest, my Classic Mansion has been open for so long, and you are the one who spends the most money here. In other words, you are my super big customer." Hank wanted to cry but had no tears. A normal person can't spend $10 million on a meal in his lifetime. But a meal here costs $10 million. Whether he is the host or he is collecting contributions with others, the money has never been less. It's not surprising that he has to pay $10 million today to become a big customer here. "So," he said with a smile on his face, "Mr. Hong, the food here is very good, the service is also very good, and the environment is even better. It is my honor to spend more money here." After that, he stretched out his hand to make a gesture of invitation and said with a smile, "Let's go, Mr. Hank. I will accompany you to the Diamond Box." Hank waited in the Diamond Box alone for more than an hour before Steve and Matt came together. When he saw Hank, Steve asked him, "Hank, I heard from Matt that among all of you, only you have brought over $1 billion of cryptocurrency. Why haven't the others taken action yet?" This? Hank thought about it and was basically planning to cover up for those brothers. Chapter 67:18. He could just find a reason to prevaricate. For example, they were raising money and had not found a safe purchase channel. Anyway, it would still be reasonable to find any reason to delay for a day or two. However, Hank was deeply opposed to these people at this time. The reason for the resistance was that as long as they paid $1 billion, they could restore their male virility. He paid $1 billion and could only cure pancreatic cancer. After everyone has paid the money, they might get together to hold various parties. But he was unable to do so. Thinking of this, he was also quite unhappy with those people. So he sighed and said, "Mr. Rothschild, to be honest, these people are all fence-sitters. They are hesitant now because they are waiting to see what kind of changes will happen to me. To put it bluntly, they hope to use me to determine whether Mr. Wade has the ability." Steve smiled and said, "In this case, I need to suggest to Mr. Wade that they should charge them a late payment fee." After that, he sighed and said, "It would be reasonable to charge at least $200 million per person. What do you think, Hank?" Hank said respectfully, "Everything is decided by you, Mr. Rothschild and Mr. Wade. No matter what decision you two make, I will fully support it." As he was speaking, the door was pushed open, and Charlie's voice came, smiling and asking, "Hank, what do you want to support us in doing?" Hank saw Charlie coming, and immediately stood up and said very respectfully, "Mr. Wade, let's talk about what others are still waiting and watching. Mr. Rothschild means that if they keep holding such a wait-and-see attitude, they will be charged a late payment fee." Charlie smiled and said, "This is a good suggestion. Matt, you write it down and convey it to those people when the time comes." Matt immediately said, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, I've written it down." Charlie nodded, looked at Hank, and asked, "Hank, is your plane ready? When will you return to the United States?" Hank hurriedly said, replying to Mr. Wade, "My plane has been arranged. It will take off from Jinling International Airport at 12 o'clock and return to New York." "Okay." Charlie smiled slightly and patted him on the shoulder twice. Some spiritual energy entered his body from his meridians and gathered directly in his pancreas. Now Charlie's control of spiritual energy has reached the level of perfection. There is no need to waste rejuvenation pills or blood-saving pills to treat pancreatic cancer. He only needs to accurately inject spiritual energy into the other person's body, gather it to the lesion, and wait for the spiritual energy to automatically repair the other person's body. And the purpose of healing can be achieved. Spiritual energy is the most fundamental energy of all things in the world. Its most unique feature is that it will immediately reshape and repair anything that damages the origin of life. There is no need to prescribe the right medicine to treat diseases with spiritual energy. If a person catches a cold, it is because the virus has invaded his life essence source. After the spiritual energy enters the body, it will immediately find the virus that damages the organism itself and completely remove it, while repairing the body damaged by them. In the same way, if a person has cancer, when the spiritual energy enters his body, it will also completely eliminate the cancer cells, and at the same time repair his body organs damaged by cancer cells. Therefore, in a very short time, Hank's pancreatic cancer was completely cured. Because Hank's pancreatic cancer is in the stage of no perception, he doesn't know that he has recovered at all at this moment. He was still thinking in his heart, wondering when Charlie was going to treat him. "Is it after dinner?" So, he hurriedly said to Orville, "Mr. Hong, please arrange the dishes quickly. And wait until after dinner so that Mr. Wade can treat me." Charlie said lightly, "Your disease has been cured. It doesn't matter whether you eat or not. If you are not in a hurry to go back, just finish the meal here. If you are in a hurry to go back, pay for the meal and go to the airport quickly." Hank was confused. "Mr. Wade, when did you cure me? How come I didn't know?" Chapter 67:19. "Mr. Wade, what did you say?" Hank was confused. He looked at Charlie and asked him, "You say my disease has been cured?" Charlie nodded and said, "Yes, it has been cured. You can go back now." Hank said blankly, "When did you treat me? Why don't I feel anything?" Charlie smiled and said, "Did you have any special feelings before impotence?" "That's not the case. Hank shook his head. He only found out about impotence when he took medicine at night. When he looked back on the whole thing, he still couldn't figure out at what stage Charlie had done it to him. It seems that Charlie should have the ability to make people impotent invisibly. When he thought of this, he immediately realized that Charlie might have cured his pancreatic cancer invisibly. So he said excitedly, "Thank you, Mr. Wade. Thank you, Mr. Wade. After I return to the United States tonight, I will ask them to check it as soon as possible." Steve frowned and asked, "Why? You don't trust Mr. Wade?" No, Hank said quickly. "What I mean is that those people have been telling me that my disease can't be cured. And the probability of 5 years of inventory is less than 10%. So I want to let them know that they are just frogs in the well. This disease can be completely cured in the magical China." Charlie said lightly, "You still have to check it. Otherwise you can't be 100% assured." As he said, he asked Hank, "Are you leaving now or later?" Hank said quickly, "I will leave later, leave later. I'll let the plane take off in the early morning. And have a good meal with Mr. Wade first." Charlie smiled and nodded, saying, "Then let Orville hurry up to serve the dishes. And you go back quickly after eating, so as not to be worried." Hank smiled and didn't explain or quibble. He knew that Charlie saw people and things very thoroughly. And if he continued to explain at this time, it would seem unnecessary. After dinner, Hank set off for the airport again. The crew members were ready at this time. After he boarded the plane took off overnight and headed for the United States. His private doctor also received a notice from him, who asked him to contact the hospital to arrange a second examination for him. He asked puzzledly, "Mr. Hank, it has not been more than 48 hours since your last examination. Why do you need another examination?" Hank said, "I have received treatment in China. And now I have to go back to check whether the treatment is effective." After that, Hank told him, "Go and arrange all the examinations for me. My plane will take off soon and I need to rest. I won't tell you first." The private doctor didn't understand why Hank rushed back in a hurry after not staying in China for a few hours. What kind of treatment could he receive in these few hours? Chapter 6720. The treatment of pancreatic cancer is a very difficult and complicated medical problem. It is not a simple visit to the doctor, taking medicine, or having an operation that can be perfectly solved. Moreover, a few hours is far from enough for surgery, let alone preoperative preparation. After thinking it over, he concluded that Hank had gone to China this time to seek treatment for Chinese medicine. He had also met many Chinese people with cancer. When the medical level in the United States could no longer cure their diseases, they often chose to return to China for Chinese medicine treatment. But in his opinion, this kind of Chinese medicine treatment for terminal illnesses is actually a kind of palliative care. Doctors no longer really seek to cure patients, but just let patients live more peacefully in the last days before they die. Therefore, he speculated that Hank would definitely need to undergo surgery here after he returned. He had already prepared personal and team introductions of several top doctors in the United States who were good at pancreatic cancer, and was waiting for Hank to communicate with him after landing to decide which team to choose for his treatment. At dawn, Hank's plane landed at the New York airport. This time, he did not choose to go to the hospital by car, but arranged a medical helicopter in advance and waited at the airport. The doctors in the hospital were also well prepared, just like last time. The Dr. Johnson from last time was still the person in charge designated by the hospital. When he saw Hank, he immediately said to him, "Mr. Hank, I don't think we need to do another examination now. The best way is to take the time to evaluate your body. And then develop a treatment plan and implement it quickly. Hank shook his head. Draw my blood right now and check my CA-199. First, let's see what the value of my C1199 is. And then we can see what to do next. Johnson asked him, do we need to do the other tests again? Hank thought about it and asked him, how long will it take for the CA-199 results to come out? Johnson said, about 6 or 7 hours. Hank asked again, is CT fast? A little bit. Johnson nodded and said, we have already found your lesion in the last whole-body scan. So if we want to recheck the CT, the easiest way is to do a local CT scan directly on your pancreas. This will be very fast. After injecting contrast agent, we have the most professional doctors to evaluate the image data immediately. And the results can be seen in about tens of minutes. Hank immediately said, hurry up and arrange for blood to be drawn. Then make contrast agent, and then go directly to the CT scan, don't delay anything. Johnson could only nod and agree, saying, Mr. Hank, please wait, I will arrange it now. Since there are fewer examinations to be done this time. The hospital immediately arranged for nurses to come and draw blood and inject contrast agent. 20 minutes later, Hank was pushed into the CT room. All the relevant experts in the hospital, including Johnson, were gathered in the operating room of the CT scanner at this moment. Everyone was waiting for the machine to take the image data and see the actual situation as soon as possible. The flat examination bed sent Hank into the machine. And the doctor operating the instrument also focused on the area near his pancreas. Then, the machine began to run quickly. And three-dimensional CT images soon began to appear on the computer. A group of doctors looked at the dynamic image data. And their expressions changed from indifference at the beginning to amazement. Someone exclaimed, This is impossible. How can there be no lesions at all? Is he really cured? Johnson was also confused because the previous plain scan showed that Hank's pancreas did have space-occupying lesions. However, the current enhanced CT did not show any suspicious conditions. A doctor asked Johnson, I heard that Mr. Hank went to China urgently. Could it be that he was cured there? Johnson frowned and said, even if anybody can cure it, there is no such treatment. Normally, if you want to treat his condition, you have to cut off the entire pancreas. How can there be a treatment plan that can save the pancreas? After that, he hurriedly urged the doctor. Quick, bring out Mr. Hank's previous CT scan data and compare it.